Look at that smiling face. He's already smiling. He's already bringing a ray of sunshine to this show, by God. We love this guy. For those of you watching on the video stream, you know exactly who we're talking about. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline and video line, I guess, at this point. Jon Morosi is here. How are you, man?
Good evening, gentlemen. Happy Four Nations face-off to everybody listening. Yes, it's pitchers and catchers reporting, and I'm excited about that, too. But we've got, in my opinion, two of the best things I can ever imagine in the sports world. You've got the start of a new baseball season and our first best-on-best NHL-level international hockey tournament, the first one in 9 years. We've been waiting a long time for a week like this, and I can't wait.
JP, we did a story where somebody was talking about top five. You know, the Mariners need to be top five in these offensive numbers, and we're like, hey, we'll take middle of the road. You know,
Right.
I mean, I think that. But as far as the guy maybe going to be in charge of that, Edgar Martinez, do you think, are we overplaying the kind of effect that he can have on Mariner hitters? And now that he's full time and semi full time. Do you think that that's fair expectation?
Well, he's going to be a huge voice, and there's no question about that. My philosophy on this is that a lot of the conversation surrounding hitting in the major leagues, it's reaching this really important inflection point where we've got all the data, and the hitters themselves know all the data, and their coaches know all the data. And the most important job now, and I don't mean to trivialize or reduce what the hitting coach does, but it's the ability to translate, to help interpret. And a lot of that comes from the feel of how you deliver the message and how you communicate and the relationship that you have. That is, I think, the essence of what coaching is. We sort of had a funny conversation about coaching at the outset, but these guys are all really talented. They're all really talented. There's certainly differences. There are the greats and there are the very goods and the goods, but they're all elite by any reasonable measure of what they do at hitting. And I find that teams that communicate well and are able to make adjustments, and part of it comes now from Edgar Martinez, someone who's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And when you're sitting beside someone in the cage, and if I'm giving you information saying, hey, this guy's got a good slider, he likes to throw it down and away, they're like, okay, John. Well, if it's Edgar who says, here's the way the pitch might come in, and here's what I did in the major leagues for 20 years to take that ball to right field, it's just going to resonate differently. Yeah. And I think that having Edgar and certainly the support of Dan Wilson and that coherence, I think that has a chance to be a game changer for the Mariners. And certainly Edgar was around when they had success late last season, and that seems to be the message that we're getting from the front office. We can put all the one-liners aside and whatever Jerry said or didn't say at his press conference, that's all history now. They've got a good team. They've got a good lineup that should be better than it was last year. And the bar, to your point, the bar to be better is not that high.
Yeah.
If they would have had an average offense last year, they're in the playoffs comfortably. Mm-hmm. And no one is there in Peoria day one saying, all right, boys, let's be average. We're going to be average this year. But among the three of us friends talking, that's probably what they have to be. If they're average, they're going to be a really good team.
Look, if they can get to average, I will be very happy with that offense if it gets to average, because it was nowhere close to average last year, despite Jerry's protesting that they weren't given the credit for what they do well, which I'm still not entirely sure what it is they did well. But in looking at the plan, it seems like their plan is we're going to just count on everybody to get better than they were last year, because you didn't bring in anybody new. The sales pitch, I guess, if you will, is, well, now you got a full year of Arozarena. You got a full year of Robles. You got a full year of Dan Wilson and Edgar. And then you brought in Solano and Polanco is going to be better too. How do you feel about the plan that everybody's just going to be better than they were?
It's credible. It's not fail-safe. It's not the Yankees. It's not the Dodgers. So let's be real about what the goal is and what other teams have. Line up the Mets lineup and line up the Mariner lineup and tell me which one we'd take. Mm-hmm. And so there are, you can convince yourself, not that difficultly, but you can convince yourself that it's going to be a better year, and I actually think it will be. But they don't have an elite offense, and I think that they need to be real about what it's going to take to function as a good 1 through 9. And I think that was part of the issue last year. They didn't have what I thought until the very end of the year, good connectedness and harmony in the way the at-bats played out and unfolded during the course of a game. There were too many rally-stopping at-bats, right? And again, Julio's got to be better, Garver's got to be better, Haniger's got to be better, and I think that they will be. It's a reasonable argument. Let's put it this way. It's my job to know all 30 teams and understand what their plans are and how they're coming together. I've certainly heard many worse sales pitches than what the Mariners are offering right now. There are teams that offensively have far greater concerns because at the end of the day, if Julio plays the way that he can play, they've got the type of player that very few teams have. And to me, a lot of this season, at the risk of oversimplifying it, if he comes out there and puts up something that looks like a 30-30 season and has, importantly, a smoother and more consistent 6 months. And I think that's what I'm watching. And his performance is going to be what answers it one way or the other. Can he be more consistent? He's still a young player, but he's not a kid anymore. And I think that for an organization that's looking to him as the heart and soul of the team, you could argue Cal Raleigh is that in a lot of ways too, but he needs to be a little smoother in terms of the production month to month. And I think he knows that. It's not some revolutionary take that I've got, but that's what I believe. There are certain players that can be a little hot and cold and it still works. A Rosarena can be that way, by the way, but Julio has to be a little more steady. And I think he knows that. The Mariners know that. The fans know that. And I look for big things from him this year.
We got about 45 seconds. The Kraken, are they going to make the playoffs this year? They're sitting just above the San Jose Sharks at the bottom of this division.
No. There's the short answer for you. Good news, Eberle will have the conditioning stint coming up, so I think that'll be good. They really haven't. I think his absence has shown the hockey world how important he is to the Kraken. So I think his return will help them, I think, stabilize their performance a little bit. Shane Wright's had some good games. I think he had a good game against the Wings, obviously there before the break. So I think he's starting to come into his game a little bit. Maybe not superstar numbers, but incremental improvement from Wright. I'm really encouraged by what I've seen from Shane.
You're the best, John. We look forward to it each and every week.